Hi, it's Tim Hagen from Progress Coaching, and welcome to another episode of Coaching Conversations. And I wanted to make you aware of something very cool that we're doing on a subscription basis, and we'll put a link in each one of our episodes. But every Wednesday, we're going to be doing what we call an audio podcast workshop. That workshop will be roughly about 14 to maybe 20 minutes per episode, with each month having a theme from a coaching model, using feedback strategically, to coaching self-awareness, and so on. So if you could look in the body or in the content description of each episode, and you will see a link where you can join this subscription. These are literally 4 workshops every month, teaching specific strategies to address a particular area of workplace coaching, as it relates, again, to things like awareness, motivation, teamwork, and what have you. Here's the cool thing. It's only $10 per month, and each month you will get a handout that we will follow along with. So we also give you a tool for you to take notes as we go through each episode. We hope you'll check it out.
When we're coaching and conversing with people, I always think we need to have a checkpoint for our own state of mind. Think about when we approach people and think about how they should receive our approach. One of the things I always go back to is the combination of approach and reception. Let me give you a really fundamental viewpoint that we share. A lot of times when people give feedback, you'll hear people say, well, I needed to give constructive feedback. I had to let them know how I felt. I need to point out where they have some issues and they need to improve. And none of those things are bad. I go back to the goal of feedback. The goal of feedback is never to give feedback. The goal of feedback is to give it so someone receives it thoughtfully and professionally and ultimately utilizes it. Let me repeat that. The goal of feedback isn't just to give feedback, because that's a one-way street. The goal of feedback is to give it so someone receives it thoughtfully and professionally and ultimately utilizes it. So let's come back to the basics of conversations. If I approach someone and I'm upset, is my objective to get them upset? No, it's typically to be heard and to be understood. So if I lead with a high degree of anger and emotion, what am I going to get back? A high degree of anger and emotion, which did what to my objective of building understanding and clarity? It just went right out the window, right? So how we approach people is how we ultimately position them to receive it thoughtfully and professionally in a cooperative manner. So recently, I got certified in emotional intelligence. And there's 5 areas of emotional intelligence: self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, social skills, and empathy. And one of the things that I'm very conscientious of is empathy, because it's where I scored the lowest. So the person who I was receiving my feedback from, Ed Hennessy, who does just a fantastic job with emotional intelligence training out of Dallas, Texas, we were talking about things, and I told him later, weeks later, how much I've noticed my conversations were getting better. See, very often when you teach and you're the subject matter expert and you're the leader and you want to give all this great information, you tend to create your own one-way streets. So essentially what I was doing is not practicing what I preach. What I have found by being more empathetic, understanding, taking a deep breath, and thinking before I approach someone, especially when matters are serious, whether it's conflict or tough information that needs to be communicated, whatever it might be, I ask myself a lot more often and thoughtfully than I ever did before, how are they going to receive this? How do I want them to receive it? And what do I need to alter in my approach in my conversation so that actually occurs? Remember, our approach will affect the way people receive us. Thank you for listening to another episode of Coaching Conversations by Tim Hagen and Progress Coaching. Now, our company is always coming out with new and innovative solutions to help leaders coach their employees. And recently, we just created a new service called Coach to You, where leaders can pick and choose topics and assign 7 to 21-day programs for employees to learn and, more importantly, apply actions and then reflect and share what they're going to do going forward as a result of the learning. It's called Coach to You. We're literally bringing coaching to your employees. If you're intrigued, we'll have a link in each one of our episodes where you can get more information. And again, thank you so much for listening to another episode.